Maura, how do you approach this weekend, especially with you got the big league game on Friday, but then obviously a special day on Saturday with Hockey Day Minnesota.
Yeah, I think our primary focus is Friday, of course. That's the one with the league points on the line, and the message, every game is a big one. So we focus on that one, and obviously all the hype is about Saturday. So the kids are excited. They've gotten outside plenty of times this winter, and there's so much publicity and so many good things coming out of Hockey Day Minnesota for us that will be a really special event.
Well, what do you think that day, Hockey Day Minnesota, what do you think that means for women's hockey, for them to put your team and St. Cloud and the women's WCHA on display like they are?
It's really important. Obviously, hockey, women's hockey, girls hockey in Minnesota is huge, but the ability to put it on TV and get it into the households of people maybe that aren't fans yet is really important, and I think it's really special for our players, especially the local ones that grew up here watching Hockey Day Minnesota and watching all the boys teams over the years, to finally get their shot at it, I think is really important and special.
What, I guess, is the message going into this weekend where you play indoors, play outdoors? You guys haven't practiced outdoors. I mean, you always talk about taking it one game at a time. This is kind of separate in that regard, at least a little bit this weekend.
Yep, it is, and I don't think there's a whole lot that we can prepare for Saturday. It's outside. It's going to be, I think, nice, 30 degree or so. I'm sure it'll be sunny. That'll be interesting. Ice conditions, you don't know what it's going to be like. So I think just preparing for the unknown and making the best of it, and I think that's the only way you can really approach it. To set up practices outside, it still isn't going to be the same thing as it's going to be at that rink on that particular day. So I have no doubt that our kids are going to be really excited to play and are going to want to put their best foot forward, given all the publicity and everything that's going on behind it.
Even the next game, the next period could change. The ice could change.
Exactly, yeah. And shadows will come into play. There are all sorts of different things. You've watched enough outdoor games, whether it's snowing or not. It's probably going to be a slower style of hockey, but you never know. And I think that's a really good lesson for our players to learn too. Is you can't prepare for everything, and you have to be able to roll with the punches a little bit. And I think that teaches really good lessons that we can take down the line.
The points that are on the line Friday, though, obviously hockey is going to be fun and it's important, but how important are those points against St. Cloud to kind of stay in that running for that home ice spot?
It's critical. Every game this semester is critical, and that one is huge. We're going to play St. Cloud 3 times in the next few weeks, and to get the first one I think is good for momentum and just important as always. So that's our focus, and getting used to playing on that sheet of ice too is unusual for us. So that'll take a little adjusting, but I think it should benefit us as well with the speed and the finesse and some of our European players that are used to the bigger sheets.
They can make the outdoor rink Olympic size?
Definitely not.
Will it be small?
I think it's NHL size, yeah.
If you were St. Cloud, wouldn't you make it big?
Maybe, but I don't know how much St. Cloud gets to say, what size the rink should be. It's really the Hockey Day Minnesota people.
I think we talked about this earlier more, but we talked a lot about Maddie and her time with the Olympic team. But with that coming up and Sid now being on the team, what steps forward, I guess, development-wise, did you see her take? Because she kind of had a pretty quick rise to that team and was invited late. But what did she do here last year that really made her a candidate for that Olympic team?
Yeah, I mean, our results really were hard to ignore. I think the amount of wins that we had, the team that she was able to play with, obviously helped her look good, but she also had an outstanding season. The numbers that she put up, her development from year 1 to year 2 is pretty significant, and I think the confidence, we talk about it all the time. She was our #1 goalie, and there was no question about it, and I think that put the responsibility on her shoulders a little bit more, and also gave her the confidence knowing that the team and coaches believed in her, and she just took it and ran with it. And I was able to see those guys when we were down there. We had pre-camp in Tampa, so I saw both Sid and Maddie on and off the ice, and they're doing really, really good, and are just excited to get this whole next step of the journey underway.
Did Sid develop into maybe like the quintessential defenseman? She can kind of do it all. She's maybe more stay at home, but she was contributing offensively quite a bit in the right spots last season.
Yeah, I think Sid's skating is her biggest asset, and anybody that watches her knows how effortless it looks when she's skating around out there. So a defenseman that can move like that, whether she's offensive or defensive, is special. And I think within the system that they're playing, they want their D to push the pace and get up in the play, and they handle the puck quite a bit. So her ability to skate that well, and the ability for her to be able to jump up into the play, whether she's more defensive or not, was intriguing enough for them to think, yeah, this is a good decision for them.
Did you find any young prospects in the tournament?
From other countries, yep. Our whole team is committed, and
is it really?
Yeah, yep. And 2 of them are coming to us, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a bunch of teams playing there, and had the chance to take a peek at some others.
Did you bring a little attaché case for the brochures?
No, not that bad.
The second time around, Maura, is it still, I mean, we talked about your emotions 2 years ago winning that gold medal, but were they the same? Were they a little bit different having kind of done it before, or was it all something new out over in Russia?
It's always special. Different team, different experience. Being in Russia versus being in North America, I think, made it that much sweeter. I think you bond a little closer with the players and the staff, just being in a place with a different alphabet, different culture, different time zone. And this one was sweet. I mean, anytime you get to win a gold medal and represent your country is a huge honor and privilege, so it never gets old.
How do these experiences help you grow as a coach?
I think it's awesome for me to get to work so closely with other high-level college coaches. You know, working with Joel from Minnesota and Courtney from BC. Those guys have been in the game for a really long time. Courtney's a 2-time Olympian. So for us to be sitting around the table, talking hockey, picking out drills, you know, not only that stuff, but working on the psychology of a team, how to get a team to come back from a 3-1 deficit, what the messaging is going to be, how to get a group to become a family in a short time, a 2.5-week process. A lot of those experiences and conversations, no doubt, have helped me and have helped them become better.
The European teams play any specific systems to take advantage of the big ice that you know?
They try. I think they're a little more comfortable with it. You'll see a lot of indirect passes, maybe less aggressive on the forecheck, conserving their speed and their energy, so they're able to come back hard. But otherwise, I think, you know, a lot can be made of the size of the ice, and if you have the right players, they're going to figure it out. And we were fortunate enough to have the right players.